Hi, and welcome to another episode of Rate That Album, where two guys from the Midwest talk about albums. We go into the history of it, discuss kind of what some things were. We go all over the board. I am your host, Paul Muad'Dib. I will be stepping out for this episode after this intro. But as always, there is the one, the only, Joseph Fremming. Joseph, how you doing, sir?
I can't believe you found an album worse than Saint Anger. Like, in that quick of a turnaround, too. I am fucking floored.
So you were not a fan of this album. We did for those of you that didn't listen to the last episode, the 2003 debut album, studio album, by none other than the professional wrestler, Mr. Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, it was bad. Like, well, I'll talk about it with the guest, but it was just okay. All right, I'm gonna just say it. Paul, you play wrestling games like I do, right?
Yes, I do. I love my wrestling games.
So every song on here sounds like a generic track from the PlayStation SmackDown games, where you create a character. But, like, the only difference is you have Macho Man rapping over the generic Limp Bizkit / generic hip-hop. That's what this was.
We'll get into that. So I'm going to step away. And in my place, we've able to get a medium to bring back the one, the only Macho Man Randy Savage to talk about his album. One moment here. Wait, I gotta put these headset on? Yeah, put the headset on. All right, it's a little small. What are you, some kind of tiny man? Yeah, well, shut up, dude. Just get on the thing, all right? We're waiting for you. Don't talk to Macho Man that way. Dude, sorry. All right, you go. I'm getting in the studio. Can you hear me?
I can't hear him over the towels of yours I stole, Macho Man.
Touch my towels. Nobody touches my towels or my shampoo. You leave my stuff alone. I bring that from home.
Well, don't leave it laying around, you chucklehead. Come on. All right, let's talk about your album here, Macho Man.
My 2007 by Big Records? Yeah, that was a great album. What do you want to talk about? You're going to tell me how amazing it was?
Why?
The big reason
did you need money, Macho Man? Why does this thing exist? And why did Paul throw it my way? And why are you? What's the afterlife like? Well, I know. You're in heaven with Andre the Giant, and he didn't like you.
We get along now. It's okay. We buried the hatchet, as it were, under St. Peter's grave. So I've never been humble my whole career, and I'm not gonna start now, especially after dying. But when I came out with that album, the madness was gonna run wild. It's called "Be a Man," and they had 13 hits on there, and they're gonna rock all the house. Whoa, yeah! Let me tell you, it was 13 hits. 13 hits of playtime, yeah.
Yeah, you could say there was 13 something on this 14-track album.
They were all the cream of the crop.
So, Macho Man, how did this come about? How did you decide to make a hip-hop album?
Well,
what inspired you? Did you listen? Have you even heard a hip hop album before?
So this is a really good, this is kind of a good question. I've been working with boxers in my hometown of St. Petersburg, and I ran into Big Three Records chairman Bill Edwards, who was managing a local boxer at the time, and we got along, and I listened to Eminem and Run DMC and LL Cool J, and among others, and he said, "Hey man, you're not doing much in the wrestling." I said, "Ooh, I got my comeback coming." And he said, "Well, why don't you bring it to the studio, and then you can take it to the ring?" And I said, "That's a great idea." Oh, yeah.
What ring, though? Because around this time, you had a falling out with Mr. Vince McMahon, or the humble, down-to-earth CEO of World Wrestling Entertainment.
That happened a long time ago. Yeah, see, that happened. What happened was I didn't want to be an announcer. Yeah, and Vince McMahon was not gonna let me wrestle, so he made me a color commentator. Yeah, and I took that Slim Jim contract. I went to Eric Bischoff, who was giving out fat contract at the time. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And I went to him and I said, "Hey, I want to get out of the WWF, and this is my price." And Eric met it. So I took that and I took my Slim Jim money and I didn't bother telling Vince because he pissed me off. I just left that day. Oh, yeah. He found out when I was on air. Mm-hmm. I taught Vince McMahon a good lesson. Yeah, I just tell you when you don't cross the Macho Man,
All right. Last year, a few years ago, John Oliver did a thing on wrestlers as private contractors who would get no health insurance. Do you think that contributed to some of the mental illness that led you to make this album?
You son of a bitch. I didn't come here to be made fun of all day. I didn't come back from the dead just to be ripped on by some little pipsqueak. Butt I could kick down there in Minnesota. Yeah. But I will tell you what. There was a lot of problems there. Yeah, my buddy, my good friend, Vessi Ventura, yeah, he tried. He tried to make that happen, but the Hogan, who's not a man, be a man, Hogan.
Yeah, that's okay. So let's get into some of these tracks, Macho Man. Obviously, the elephant in the room is "Be a Man," a diss track at Hulk Hogan, which made me realize that at the time you made this, the rivalry most of us know about between you and Hogan was already 20 years old. Was there any specific reasons you had to rekindle this rage at wrestling's most overrated entertainer, the man with the skin of a hot dog and the silken hair of a Chinese man?
I like
as It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia described him.
I'm suddenly beginning to like the cut of your gym, kid. Yeah, I like the way you describe that little piece of trash. Yeah, you see, the thing that people don't understand is that Hogan and I never got along. See, yeah, he wouldn't. I mean, we made the money together, right? But he caused me and Elizabeth a lot of problems. Him and his wife. Yeah, and so I just had to get it out because it was never over. See, it was never over between Hogan and I. No. There's a lot of things that went down there. He's a punk. He couldn't wrestle. I mean, you see the moves he's got. What, a leg drop and a big boot? Come on, I was going off the top rope. Cream of the crop. Macho Madness running wild. Yeah.
Yeah, and plus, Hogan did irreparable harm on journalism when he sued Gawker into nothing. So
he's not a love sponge.
Yeah. Too much seafood. We all remember him burping up seafood as he's banging his best friend's wife.
Him and David Hasselhoff. Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so there's one track I want to bring up because it's one of my personal favorite wrestlers. Your perfect friend, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. What inspired this track?
He died of an overdose, yeah, see. And Kurt Hennig, he was a real man, unlike Hogan. Or that horrible Ultimate Warrior, yeah, Jim Hellwig. Tell you what, who's not up there in heaven with me and Andre the Giant? Jim Hellwig, yeah. You gotta understand that I had to get my feelings out. I'm a real sensitive kind of guy, yeah. And I just had to get that out. I had to let Hennig know. I had to let my good friend Kurt know and pour a beer out. Yeah, I care about him.
When was the last time you saw him?
God damn it, I'm not putting up with this.
Where are you going?
I'm going back to heaven. I don't want this.
All right. I guess I'm back. Sorry, Joe. What did you do? What did you do to Macho Man?
Well, I asked him the tough questions, Paul. You know me. I have that background in journalism, so what he went on about Mr. Perfect, and I just calmly asked when was the last time he saw him, and his response told me all I needed to know. He probably didn't even know Mr. Perfect.
Ooh, harsh. So, wow. Well, I'm glad we were able to get him for a little bit. I was hoping to keep him the whole podcast, but beggars can't be choosers. So, yeah. I wasn't in the studio, and I apologize for that. So let's just get kind of caught up here. Joe, what is your take before we get into like the making of the album and things like that? Was there anything on this album that you liked?
I didn't mind My Perfect Friend, but that's, again, I'm a little biased because I like Kurt Hennig growing up. So, but no, there was really nothing on this album I enjoyed, and I think that really upset Macho Man during her interview. It's just I didn't want to lie to him. And also maybe I went in with more biases than I should have. Given the fact that how he treated Miss Elizabeth. I just, sometimes you got to put these guys to task.
Absolutely.
It was the no spin zone, Paul.
No.
And he couldn't handle it.
He couldn't handle the no spin zone. Yeah. Oh, but God, that's a throwback to a guy I never wanted to think about again. Yeah. So let's talk about this album. So it really, again, I think I'm not sure where you guys got in the interview, but Macho Man was hanging around boxing clubs and was trying to get in the real sports and that type of thing because he was just done with all the wrestling at the time. And
he was a pretty good baseball player.
He was an amazing baseball player.
He came up with that training with, what was it, like some with car tires, like he would throw the ball.
Yeah.
He was good at tires and he ended up with a really solid arm. So yeah, I'm aware of his he was a really interesting guy. Except for that interview, he became kind of a piece of shit. But
I've heard that interviews aren't good with the Macho Man sometimes. So
you'll hear it when you edit this, man. But, he went sideways on me real quick.
Well, I'll see what kind of questions you ask, and I'll see what side I'm on. One of the things was, so he got together with this Big Three Records, and Big Three Records, when it comes to rap, I like rap. I like some, but some of it I don't get into, right?
Well, we just reviewed a really good rap album last week.
Right. And when it comes to things like Big Three Records and kind of what they're doing in terms of that kind of rap catalog and things like that, it's that Nelly kind of style rap that's there.
Well, it's kind of paint by numbers.
Yes, and
it's not really inspired. It's just to make quick money.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of just repeating the hook over and over, with maybe a few little bit of raps here and there, but it's always about that hook and that pop. And that's just not the style of rap I'm into. And I think you're kind of maybe in the same boat. You know what I mean? Because it's just...
That's more interesting to me than just like a club banger, as the kids say.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this was, right? And there's a couple of things I don't like on it, but he worked on it with like DJ Cool, who helped him on it. A couple other people came on. When you listen,
Colors and Aja.
Yeah, Aja, Primary Colors, exactly. You can hear, and it was produced by the Rascals. It was. I wouldn't even really call it hip hop. You know what I mean?
Well, that was another thing, my interpretation, because it reminded me a lot more of like Limp Bizkit shit.
Yeah.
It's like, when I said that generic wrestling music, because that was like huge, because the games got rolling because that was the Undertaker's. And a lot of this just sounds like the Undertaker would roll out in a stupid motorcycle with a lot of these songs as his opening.
Yeah. And I think one of the big things, too, is that what I was expecting when I heard this was, when I think Macho Man's going to put out a rap album, I think it's going to go nuts. I think it's going to be a crazy rap album, right?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be weird or like
raw.
So figure, let's get this is a novelty album.
Yes. This is an absolute novelty.
And for a novelty album, you got to have a little bit of charm to it.
Yes.
Like rapping Rodney Dangerfield's hip stuff. I mean, it's bad, but like it's stupid, hilarious.
Yeah.
This was just like bland, and
it was very bland. And in interviews, Savage talks about it only being a 13-song album. And as you pointed out, there's 14 tracks on this goddamn.
I think that upset him.
I think it did too. I think
by accusations that he doesn't know how to count.
Yes.
Maybe I did bring up I did allude he might have CTE, and that might have contributed to the
maybe just a tinge. But yeah, I mean, the story behind this really was just him kind of, and it was a promotional thing. And I really think, that it was really supposed to kind of be part of his comeback thing. And then he died shortly afterwards. You know what I mean?
When did he die? It was like 2012, I think.
He died. Yeah.
Or maybe 2010, because it was like he had a heart attack while he was driving, right?
Yeah, he died 2011, and I think he anticipated this kind of like being a big thing, and I don't think it was, and it didn't really generate.
It came out shortly after the Spider-Man movie came out, and he had a cameo in that, a very charming. I liked him as the wrestler in that.
Yes, I got you for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes of playtime. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Hey, is Macho Man back in the studio here?
No, I can't do Macho Man's voice. Come on, let's be honest, man. No, that's Macho Man's his own thing. That was my terrible impression of it. Yeah. So when you look at what this was, it was. I think this was supposed to be part of like a big, like he really thought his career, with acting and things like that was going to go on. And no, it doesn't do it. I'm going to read you a review on Amazon, as it were, from this album. This comes from Samuel S. When I first downloaded this album, I put it on my pink iPod Nano and turned up the jams. The moment I played the album from the very first song, I was enthralled. First of all, the beats are off the chain. Second of all, Savage's voice is stripped raw and gritty. He's the next DMX. He's the best lyricist since Rakim. Most definite. The things he was saying were so clever and inspirational. The way he ripped Hogan was perfect and totally called for. The album flowed seamlessly from track to track. His rhymes were exquisite and took me to another dimension. It was an out-of-body experience. It's just too bad he passed away in 2011. I would have loved to have heard a third album from this warrior poet. But the best rappers die before their time. Tupac, Biggie, Big Pun, Randy Savage. Buy this album and pour one out for this hip-hop legend.
Wait. Third album? Is there another album?
I think there is a second album.
Holy shit.
Yes, I think so. Maybe, I don't know. This person said there should have been a third album. I don't remember there being a second album. If there is, I haven't heard it.
Like the man himself, even his fans can't count.
Yeah, I don't know of a third of a second album. Yeah, so. There's just a lot that was going on there in terms of why it came about. Randy was into it and he wanted to do it and all this stuff. But as far as it goes, it's not one of the things that bothered me with this one. Like he rhymes dude like 5 times, right? And they cut out. There's a part where he's calling someone bullshit, and they're cutting out the swears. Because it's still trying to be kid friendly. And when it came to this, and really especially when it's a diss album, I expected more. Like I really do think he thought that this was going to be something that was going to blow up and it was going to drum another Hulk Hogan Macho Man run. I mean, they may not have gotten along.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. I mean, if you can make money with other people, I mean, you don't have to get along with somebody to be able to work with them.
Right. And that's kind of the thing when you hear a lot of people about Hogan. They don't say a lot of bad. I mean, they don't like him, but they all say the same thing. I made a lot of money with him.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, now they won't work with him.
Yeah.
Just because they don't have any respect for him.
No.
This was before, the Gawker thing.
Yeah, this was way before the Gawker thing. So yeah, I don't think there was a second. There wasn't a second album from this guy. So But yeah, I mean, this is just kind of the things there. It definitely is a novelty. Be a Man isn't necessarily a bad track, but again, I'm gonna kick your butt. It's hard for me to take you seriously as a rapper, right?
Well, the thing, like I brought it up with the interview with this was like a lot of people just assumed like that beef with Hogan, and it was done in the 80s. Like, what is this? Like, maybe they had some in their WCW days. Like, I don't know, but like the prime rivalry most people remember is the 80s thing with Ms. Elizabeth. That's what people remember.
Was the Mega Powers.
Wait, this is still going on?
So, again, as we call him, Cunt Hogan, he pulls some shit even in WCW. Like, because what happened with, there's a lot of things there. Hogan had complete and utter creative control in his contracts when it came to his character. So much so that at one point he was supposed to lose a a Royal Rumble King of the Ring type a Rumble type situation to Macho Man, and mid match he went to the ref and said, I'm changing it. Like mid match, and Macho Man was pissed, and this happened in WCW, I think it was, and he pulls shit like that all the time.
Screw job.
Right. I mean, and Hogan was notorious for doing that type of shit. Like one time in WCW, I know Macho Man won the belt or whatever, and Hogan comes in, had nothing to do with the match or anything, and makes it all about him. Like starts challenging him to a match, wouldn't even let Randy have his celebration, nothing, and was just immediately trying to draw all the attention onto him. Like this is something that was kind of a continuance throughout that. So again, they drew a lot of money together, but let me tell you something. I don't believe for one bit that Hogan's story that they made up.
No.
I don't believe that one bit. I think they absolutely hated.
He's infamous for rewriting history.
100%.
Yeah. He's like, as the years gone on, I've just learned to just despise him. And I think that's mutual because like there's a lot of wrestlers who just will refuse to work with them. You watch these wrestling documentaries that are not put out by WWE or whatever. If you get them candid, they'll just be like, I'll never fucking work with that guy again.
Yeah.
I think Bret Hart said that, and fuck.
Bret Hart said that, but Hogan, I give one thing his due though, Hogan, if you're a friend of Hogan, man, you worked. Like, look what happened with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, right? That's like his best friend, and the stories I think that Macho Man told was one of them that they were both banging Linda, but if he had this group of friends, like those are all the people that he brought with him to WCW, and it's the same group of people he brought into him when he went to TNA. That he's like, I know I can make money with these people, I can draw with these people, blah blah blah. So there was that to be said for it, but it also was this. I mean, you go back, and you look at. I don't understand in that day and age how he was a face. At the way he behaved and things like that, like he was a total heel character. He was a total heel, and
behind the scenes he is. The thing is, like, he's really good with PR, so he sold himself pretty well to that people.
Yeah. So when it comes to this album, though, I mean, okay, you got the intro, whatever. I'm back. Okay, are you ready? You got Hit the Floor with DJ Cool. I mean, there isn't really, the only standout track really is My Perfect Friend in my mind. It's the best song on the album.
Yeah, the rest of them just kind of blur into one another. Like they really don't differentiate to me a whole lot. It's just generic beats and him doing his thing over it, which, again, it doesn't really have any of his charm to it, which is another weird thing.
Yeah.
This guy is like, he could be incredibly hilarious and witty, and like just none of that shines through on this at all.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, and the songs really blur together. I think it's the song "What's That All About." It's the one that, yeah, it is. It's the one that says, where the hook is, first you love me, then you hate me, want to leave me, pretty lady. I think that was an Elizabeth. That was a tribute to Miss Elizabeth. It was really, I think, there is some realism in here. The problem is, it's boring.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what's the cardinal sin you and I have always talked about. It's being average.
Yeah. If it's boring or average, it's Brown and I have the same thing in the Joe Down. If we pick a movie and it's boring, it makes it even more difficult to even review.
Yes.
Because it's just holy shit. This movie, if something's boring and nothing stands out, it's hard to, latch onto something and make something out of it. And this album's like that. There's just really nothing.
No, and that's the big problem. Again, even the song Feel the Madness. You went as the Madness King for a while, right? That was your thing. He was the over the top, and he just feels this is like Macho Man through a water filter. You know what I mean? I expected a lot more. I was expecting either nuts or Shatner level terrible. And what we got was run of the mill boring club music with a lot of wrestling references. I don't know who the audience was for this.
Yeah. Even my friends at this time who were into wrestling, I don't know anybody who had even paid any attention to it.
Right. Yeah. And, and that's kind of the thing. So yeah, I think this was shortly after he left, or was running in the problems in WCW. I think WCW closed shortly after.
Yeah, well, Vince bought it, didn't he?
Yeah, and then shut it down. Yeah. When was that?
I think that was in the early 2000s.
It was 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, at that point, they hadn't gone over the TNA yet and all this stuff, and Macho Man was not allowed to go back to WWE.
Yeah, no, Vince wouldn't work with him.
No. And
can't believe I don't understand why.
Well, do we talk about that right now?
I think you talked about it with Scott on your guys' thing.
Yeah, I think we did, but
you guys went into that detail already, so.
Yeah, and the thing with it is that you don't know. You know what I mean? There's people who say yes, there's people who say no. So it's one of those things where if you know what we're talking about, great. If you don't, you're not listening to this because we're not a wrestling podcast, but we're not a wrestling podcast. Be a Man, the lyrics on it. Let me just pull it up here. They're not that great. Again, you're supposed to be, hot diggity damn, Hogan. I'm glad you set it off. Used to be a hard Hulk, now you gone soft doing telephone commercials. I seen you dancing in tights as a ballerina. I knew all along you had those tendencies because you've been running from macho like you got a disease. Dude, please, your pay-per-views were a joke. You're avoiding Randy Savage because you know you'll get smoked. If I remember correctly, at the time, he was actually trying to get just a pay-per-view, real wrestling match between him and Hogan at the time, and Hogan refused to do it. But this was something that Macho Man was trying to do, was get it, and it's just, I gotta bring up this because this is how childish this is. They call you Hollywood. Don't make me laugh because your movie and your acting skills are both trash. Your movie straight to video, the box office can't stand. Well, I got myself a feature role in Spider-Man. No, you didn't. And no, you didn't. And no, you didn't. And no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And no, you didn't. And he ends it with you called my dad on the phone. Man, you a chump. Because you really got static, take it up with me and I'll punk your butt for the world to see. It's like, come on. You're Macho Man. Be crazy. Be crazy. You're the cream of the crop. This should have been some awesome raps. This should have been some really awesome takes. And it's just, I feel like it's just, this, like someone wrote these things down for him to say. Like he didn't come up with any of this shit.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. It's just, nothing standing out. It's just really just bland.
Yeah, it's just it's that's the sad thing about it. Again, Perfect Friend's good. I think it is actually a very touching tribute to Kurt Hennig. And I know they know each other. I mean, they were friends. They did drive together, all that kind of stuff. But other than that, between the title track and My Perfect Friend, and the only reason why the title track stands out to me because the name of the fucking album. Yeah. Well, and technically, okay, you could call it 13 songs. I get it because there's an intro. It's like a 47-second intro. It's not really a thing. So, okay, let's call it 13 tracks. Maybe Macho Man isn't wrong. But I can't. I've talked about this before. If someone does a music album that's not a musician, I have to listen to it. And I didn't think you were going to hate this as much as you did with Saint Anger.
Oh, God. Yeah, this one just rubbed me the wrong way. Like everything about it. I was livid.
I would see, and I just thought it was going to be like a funny little novelty album that we could just kind of, poke fun at and be like, ha ha ha. I didn't really realize it was going to make you that upset.
Well, that's the thing is just because of how generic it is. What in my mind it should have been. Yeah, that's probably the most upsetting thing. I can get that. The beats, there's some beats on it I do like. There's a few things around. I mean, again, I do think Macho had a great voice. I think, had he been able to do more with it and cut loose, I think he could have done a really good album. I think he does have the rap voice. It's that nice gravelly tone that does work, but it's what he's saying that doesn't work. Yeah.
So, I think we can call this one a kind of a short episode, bro. There really isn't much else we could say about this. I mean, would you recommend it?
Oh, no. God, no.
No, again, I like this kind of thing because it's just, it's a fascination to me. Like these people that don't make music
entertaining, that'd be different. This just isn't entertaining.
And it isn't. And, if it entertaining good or entertaining bad, I would have been able to recommend it.
Yeah, but that's different, At least it's entertaining, Like, I was expecting something like, the audio version of The Room weirdness, and I got, like, fucking generic hip-hop from an era I hated hip-hop.
And this is the thing with it. Like 36 chambers, this is not. Right? There isn't, because all it is it's a couple really just a couple verses and then someone else singing the hook.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like expecting like ODB craziness out of Macho Man,
Exactly right.
And when you don't get that, it's like, well, what was the point then?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think they should have let him go ODB crazy on it. I think it would have been better, especially you got tracks like Feel the Madness and Macho Thing, Tear It Up. You think, all right, gonna be trouble. You just go, okay, there's gonna be some shit on here, and it's very G-rated. Yeah. And I think that's also one of my big things is rap doesn't feel real to me. This to me comes off as Utah rap, right?
Mitt Romney rap.
Yeah. This is Mitt Romney rap, right? Like this is family friendly rap. Ooh, Macho Man, he's kind of got an anger thing going. Let's
that edge, kids.
Yeah, he's gotten that edge. Ooh, he's gonna kick someone's butt.
Behind, they're gonna kick him right in the keister.
Yeah, right in the keister, right? And that's what you got here, because he does say keister in here a couple times, and it's just it's juvenile. It's juvenile is what it comes off as. So, yeah. All right, Joe. What are we doing? Let's forego the plugs right now till I get us caught up. What are we doing next week?
Paul, we're doing something a little different next week. Mm-hmm. I am bringing us back to 1985. We're going to look at two performances, Paul. Two performances at Live Aid.
Oh, God.
One legendary and one infamous.
What the fuck are we doing?
We're going to be watching two sets, and then we're going to review it.
Oh God.
We're gonna watch Queen's set at Live Aid.
Okay.
And we're gonna watch Led Zeppelin's disastrous reunion.
Oh my God.
Now,
All right.
did you even know Led Zeppelin reunited at Live Aid? A lot of people don't because they have not authorized any release of that.
I had no idea that they did.
Yeah, and I'll talk about it. This came because I read Phil Collins' memoirs.
Yeah.
Not dead yet. Because he plays drums with Led Zeppelin at this reunion.
Oh God. Okay.
I'll talk about that next week. But yeah.
So how do I find this?
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
We're on YouTube, so I found it. So
okay, so Live Aid, 1985, Led Zeppelin. All right. So let's see here, and I'm watching the full 22-minute concert of it.
Full 22 minutes, and we're going to do the Queen's full 22 minutes. And we're going to kind of see how one band does a comeback well, and another band doesn't.
Oh God! All right. I have seen the Queen Live Aid, and it is I mean, we'll talk about it, but yeah, I
wanted to balance this a bit. I wanted us to have something good to watch and something. I watched this Led Zeppelin one. My jaw dropped, Paul.
No, let me ask you this: Is it Guns N' Roses' Disaster in Rio bad?
Paul, we'll get into it. I don't want to give you anything. I'll be interested with your reaction.
All right.
It's apparent almost right off the bat.
All right. Fair. All right. I'll check it out. But yeah, short episode. Hopefully, I know we're forgoing the plugs, but hopefully actually this week I'll be able to get us really, really caught up. I know we're behind this. It's supposed to be a weekly podcast and it's turning in like a monthly one, and that's not okay. So we'll get it back on track here. I have no excuses other than with working again. It's kind of put me behind a little bit. So, but we are getting caught up, and my God, I listened to the Amanda Lear one yesterday. Oh, you guys are in for such a treat. You guys are I think we actually stop at one point and just had like a 2-minute laughing fit.
That was something else, man.
It really was. It really, really was. So yeah, we got some really good stuff for you guys. But in the meantime, avoid this one. And Joe, do you want to take us out?
No.